Dave Revsine, Howard Griffith, Gerry Dinardo here at Camp Rantoul, home of the Fighting Illini. We'll have our show on Illinois' practice on the 21st of August on BTN. But before we get to that, wanted to share some reflections from our day here with the Fighting Illini. Year two under Tim Beckman, year one, really frankly, just didn't go well. Do you see some hope for improvement here, Gerry?
I see a totally different program. You mentioned year one. Sometimes first-year transitions are really difficult. I mean, we saw Kevin Wilson a couple years ago have a tough transition, and now they're on the right path at Indiana. We've seen Darrell Hazell at Purdue seem to have a seamless transition. This was tough for Tim Beckman a year ago, but it looks like it has been turned completely around.
You mentioned Kevin Wilson, and one of the things that I really liked about that transition was his transition as a head coach from year one to year two. I see that same transition here now happening with Tim Beckman from year one to year two. He seems much more comfortable with who he is in his position. His team reflects it because I thought they had an outstanding practice today.
And you make a point there that he has changed somewhat personally. He has also changed things about this program. I think first and foremost, he changed his offensive coordinator in Bill Cubit. What does he bring to this offense?
Bill just brings tremendous experience, and one of the ways that you can see experiences during the game. When you're an offensive coordinator, you put together a game plan, and you get to the game and you simply say, are they defending us the way we practiced? If they are, we just call the plays. Anybody can call a plays. The issue is when the answer is no. They're defending us a way that we didn't practice, and that's when a guy like Bill Cubit makes the adjustments because he's probably seen it. Maybe not last week, but he has seen it sometime in his career, and he makes the adjustment.
The experience of having a guy who's been a head coach who understands what defenses are ultimately trying to do to slow him down helps him out. And that helps out the head coach as well because now you can be more the head coach. You don't have to go over and try to micromanage the offense. You can really find out where you want to be on the defensive side, working with the defensive backs. And I think it helps the entire team grow. And what you're able to do when you talk about staff continuity, and we've heard him talk about that over the recent weeks, I think that's as important as having the type of players you want on your team because you need to have guys that understand the direction of the program.
And how about having A.J. Ricker, the offensive line coach, who came with Bill from Western Michigan? I mean, you've got the quarterback coach and the head coach and the offensive line coach that have a long history together, putting together the game plan, putting together the practice plan. The amount of time that saves, it's hard to measure.
But coaching only gets you so far. I mean, it is going to come down to the guys on the field. And I think in watching this offense, you've got a veteran quarterback, a guy who's a fourth-year starter. You have a few new guys on the flank, two really good running backs in Young and Ferguson. Line feels like it's coming along. I mean, it seems like this is going to be a better offense than it was a year ago.
It will be a better offense than a year ago. And they have enough talent to be a good offense. And again, good coaches, good players. But it's going to come down to matchups, as it always does. They only control half the equation. The other schools, they're coaching, and they have good players as well. So, but obviously the offense in this team will be the strong suit.
If you can be fundamentally sound offensively, not go out and turn the football over, and have good special teams play, you give yourself a chance. But when you're going to struggle the way they will or could possibly from a defensive standpoint, you have to find ways to take the football away. And I think that's got to be at the top of their list of things that they want to get accomplished this year.
Well, an offense that averaged fewer than 12 points per game in the Big Ten, so they certainly didn't give that defense much leeway last year. That was a defense that had three guys picked in the NFL draft. Howard, you just alluded to this. This is a much younger defense, and a defense, frankly, if the offense looks like it's going to take a step forward, it looks like the defense may take a step back before moving forward a couple years from now.
And that comes down to talent, being able to have the players out on the field that can really execute your game plan. But the other side of that is you're going to have players that are going to understand where they need to be and fit in the scheme. So to me, it's a matter of giving those guys an opportunity to continue to develop because they will be young, but it's about taking advantage of the opportunities you're given when you're put in those positions to make plays.
And Tim Banks is the second-year defensive coordinator here, so that helps. Tim Beckman's a defensive guy. That helps. But, it wasn't too long ago, you mentioned last year, draft picks. I mean, Since the network has started, we have seen some really talented defenders play at Illinois and drafted to the NFL, which brings us to the next thing, the personnel department. This is about recruiting, and I think we're seeing all Big Ten schools look at the way they're recruiting, adding personnel, improving their facilities, and Illinois is going to have to do that before they become a lot better on defense.
Lots more from these guys on our show on BTN on August the 21st. We will see you then, but for now, we are off to Madison, Wisconsin.